Hi, Rob. Rob, this is our group here, assembled at the Chamber for your marketing workshop. I'm Laura Snyder-Smith of the local marketing committee here at the Chamber. So we put on the workshops along with the staff here. Thank you so much. Rob, good to see you again. We last saw Rob as a board here at the Chamber, and his official bio. He's the owner of the Strategic Digital Marketing, and he lives with his wife in the Gardner area. Originally from Maine, Rob went into the U.S. Coast Guard after high school, and after his time in the military, Rob got his MBA concentrated in marketing from Husson University in Bangor. Rob worked in Boston at a digital marketing agency for a while before taking the job as the marketing director at the Nonantum Resort, where he also served on a board here at the Chamber. Rob has been running his own agency for 2 years now and has clients in a wide variety of industries, building websites and running advertising campaigns. Thank you so much for being here and giving us all the information.
Thanks so much, Laura. It's so nice to see you again. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and share my screen here and we'll get started with this presentation. All right, let's see. Can you share screen abilities, please?
I should also mention part 2 of this workshop is next Wednesday at the same time. There'll be a continuation of Rob's presentation today.
Share. Okay, you guys see this presentation up here?
Yep.
Okay, perfect. All right, so as Laura just said, I have been running my own digital agency for the last few years, and today we're going to do look at the landscape of digital marketing as a whole.
Okay.
All right, so what I want to do today is take everyone through the digital landscape in 2023. So we're going to kind of cover things in a broad term, and then we'll dive into some real short term and low-hanging fruit that you guys can apply to your businesses. So I'm kind of curious for the folks that are there in person in the chamber, or maybe we can put in the chat or we can come off mute, however you want to do that, Kristen. I'm just curious to learn what type of businesses and companies we have out there. So if we can start right at the chamber, what do you have for businesses and companies there?
So Rob's wanting to know the businesses here. If you guys want to talk about your business. Rob was asking about the businesses here at the chamber. If you guys want to mention who you guys are with.
I'm Kevin Shea, and I'm craftsman at Arundel Gallery. We make live edge furniture and home decor products. We have an established Facebook page, Instagram page. We cooperate here with the ladies at the Chamber of Commerce for reaching out to people in this local community. I do my own marketing directly to people who I think are candidates for either collaborating with or showing our wares in. So we do a lot of reach out, just both directly as well as digitally.
Beautiful, thank you. Anybody else there?
Sorry. I'm Chelsea, and I work at AWS, the Animal Welfare Society in Washington, as their digital marketing assistant. And I mean, obviously, AWS also has an established social media franchise as well as online marketing for all different types of online calendars and things around the community. So.
Perfect, thank you for that. All right, I mean, if anybody else that is, joining us virtually, you can put it into the chat so we can see some of that. I'll just check that as we're going along here, but it's helpful for me to know who we have in the audience so that I can tailor some of those tactics specifically to you. But we'll dive right in here, and please feel free to stop me at any time, put it in the chat, raise your hand, whatever you're going to do to get my attention. We'll keep going here. So, just to start here, I want to make sure that we're speaking the same language. So as I go into the tactics of what's really important in the digital landscape world, it's really important that you understand certain concepts like the marketing funnel. So oftentimes referred to as like the sales funnel. And there's some concepts here that you're really working your way through a psychological process of communicating with your customers. The idea of awareness campaigns is a very different tactic and approach than the things that you would do when you're looking just for conversions. So as you can see here, there are specific tactics like YouTube, social media, SEO, display ads, things like that, that really lend themselves well to awareness, building brand awareness, as opposed to some things that you can do that drive conversions and sales, like Google Ads, which is search engine marketing, email campaigns, website development, special offers, online reputation management, different
just to see.
tactics will drive different outcomes. So understanding the things that we do in awareness tactics, very different from conversion. Typically, your awareness tactics will tend to cost a little bit less, and the cost per acquisition on the conversion tactic is a little bit more expensive. So that's the concept of a marketing funnel and where we're trying to hit our audience. So some major marketing core concepts. This applies to regular marketing, traditional marketing, just like it does to digital marketing. It's just that all the things that we saw in traditional sales and marketing are just happening online now. So the concepts still hold true. And basically, if I were to sum up my MBA in marketing, it would be to say that marketers' jobs is to facilitate exchanges, whether that be money for a product or a service, or to exchange information, like the chamber does such a great job of promoting information about what's going on in that area. That is our job, is make it really easy to exchange information or product service for money. So that's the goal. And everything we do, we want to make it easy for our customers. Hopefully that makes sense, because that's really important. The second thing is trying to create a marketing-minded organization. And I'm stealing this quote here from the great Tim Ames. I think he's probably still in the so I'm not sure. I haven't spoken to him in a little while, but he used to say to us, all staff meeting, he would say, we are all in the sales department. And that's such a great mindset to have. If you're thinking about marketing or sales, if you are an employee, you are a brand ambassador for that company. So to get your staff to be thinking that way is a very, very helpful thing. Number 3, outside in thinking versus inside out thinking. This is something that my clients really struggle with, and I always have to reiterate this. You got to think about it in digital ads, just as when you have a customer right in front of you. So a good example that comes to mind with this, and the major concept they're trying to get across here, is making decisions and business policies that are good for your customers more so than what's convenient for us as business operators. So when I was in the hotel world, I will often argue with clients, let's say that they are a little bit short-staffed, they don't have enough housekeepers, and they want to impose a minimum night stay. Very common in the area that these guys are in. So they put a 3 or 4 night minimum because they know they can't turn the room over because they don't have the staff.
Here either.
That is doing something that is inside out thinking, that is to make a decision that's best for your company, more so best for the customers.
Okay, we're back. Everybody can see this, and we should be up and running. Okay, so we were talking about marketing core concepts here and how we're all in the marketing department and outside in thinking versus inside out thinking. And this is making business policies or rules that are convenient for our business more so than it is for the customer. And that's really important. In the hotel world, something that I always talk to my clients about is if they're a little bit short on staff, the idea of putting in a minimum night stay, 3-night minimum, 4-night minimum, that's making a rule or a policy that's best for your business, not necessarily what's best for the customer. That's a really important core concept with marketing. So make sure you're thinking outside in first, not inside out. The 4th core concept here is ride the demand wave. If your business has some type of seasonality, or you can look at your data and see when you're making the most sales or have the most visitors, whatever that conversion looks like for your business, try to find that demand wave and really optimize for that. Just like we hire on more staffing in our busy seasons, you want to spend your marketing dollars in the most important times. All right. I'm going to move us along a little bit here so we make sure we cover everything we need to. So, website. It all starts with your website when we're talking about digital marketing. If your website is not in good shape, it's not optimized, then you're going to really struggle. It is now Google's #1 ranking factor to have a website that loads extremely fast, in particular on a mobile phone. Most searches and most website visits to most industries, I would say, are happening on a mobile phone today. So if your page looks terrible, you have bad customer experience, it loads in a long time, then you're going to be ranked really, really poorly by Google. That is #1. And it's really pretty easy to test your website. If you go onto any website, you can right click and hit inspect. And there's a little button in the top right that says Lighthouse Report. You do that Lighthouse Report, it will give you this screenshot that you see right here. So again, from any website, go to your own website, right click and hit inspect and go to Lighthouse. That will give you your page speed loading report as you see it here. And it is crucial that it loads fast. Otherwise, you're spending money if you do advertising or hard-earned effort in doing social media posts to send them to a site that they get frustrated with and they just leave. We have a very, very short attention span now, so you have to make it count. So, #1 thing, a fast loading website. Right here is a really cool graphic that shows page abandonment, and that just means someone came to your page, they were not happy with their experience, so they just left. And what it shows here is page load time in seconds. If it takes 4 seconds for your page to load, your page abandonment rate is around 25%. You're losing a quarter of the people that came to your business just because it took too long to load. So that is paramount to everything else that we will talk about in the digital marketing world. If you send them to your website and it doesn't go well, you're losing those customers. Social media ads. Okay, we're going to talk about how you get that traffic now. And I'm sure many of you have your own social media profiles. Each different industry probably benefits or lends itself more to one or the other, or some, not all. It depends on who your demographic is and where they're spending their time. So with social media ads, there's a huge difference between boosting posts or doing ads within Ads Manager. Many of the clients I have worked with just boost posts because it's a simplified version of doing ads, and it's still a good thing. But in that case, if you are one that is boosting posts and not doing things through Ads Manager, I would say test, and then boost. Meaning, if you put out a post and it's getting really great engagement, that's the one to try and fan the flame a little bit. Put a little bit of money behind it and expand your reach. It is hands down, social media, Google, all of the above, anything on digital media has become a pay-to-play platform. They know that they are not going to serve as much impressions or visibility if you're not giving them money. That's just the truth of the matter. So coming up with a really great social media strategy, #1 is you really should set aside some budget for it. #2, the importance of video. Social media platforms are rewarding you for using video instead of static images or just text. If you want to really get a little extra lift and more reach to people, start doing some video. And it's really not as difficult as some people think it is. iPhones today take really good videos. They have great cameras in them, and you can do something without hiring a full-scale production team to come in and do a promotional video. You can do something pretty professional just with your iPhone. So that shouldn't be a barrier to entry. #3 with social media ads is warm audiences. If I had met my wife in the very beginning and the first question I asked her was, "Do you want to get married?" she'd look at me like I was crazy. We're doing the same thing if we ask for a sale the first time they've ever met our brand. So warming up your audiences and running retargeting ads is a great way to stay in front of people with your brand. There's studies that show it takes multiple times, sometimes 7 or more times, of brand exposure before someone will go seek you out, even if they're in the market for your products or your service. So there's a really huge component to warm audiences. Don't ask for the sale right away. So retargeting ads is a really, really great trick. I pair this up with most of my clients. And basically what it is you install a snippet of code on your website, and anybody that comes to your website, then they get followed around with your retargeting ads. I'm sure we've all seen it before. So you can do that on social media. You can do that through Google ads. You can do it with display ads. It's just a really great way to stay front of mind for your customers, your clients, and cut through some of the noise, because we're all getting bombarded with a bunch of advertisements and people asking us for things. So stay front of mind is really big. With that, you can pick specific website actions. Let's say you have if you're a hotel property, a book lodging, or if you sell furniture, there's a great special you have on a certain piece of furniture, and they click onto that page. You can track those specific actions and then serve ads to those specific people with social media ads. So you can get super targeted now. Next one there is email lists. If your business has a large email list, you can upload those into Meta, I should say, and run ads directly to those people with those emails. It's a really, really great thing to do today, because as you see down here, it says first-party data. That is a huge thing for marketers today. What's happening is there is a lot of security measures being put into place. Google's doing it. Facebook's doing it. They're all doing it about cybersecurity and not selling your data. So it has become crucial that we collect first-party data, which is like emails or our own website visitors. If you are not capturing that and marketing to them, you're missing out in today's world. The pixel is that snippet of code that I just talked about on your website, so you can track those website actions and segment your audiences by product, by service. You know, when I was at the Nonanthum, we had it segmented for events or weddings or hotel stays. All of those things are really important to do. Ad costs are going up every single year. It's kind of one of those lingering ripple effects we've seen since COVID, that there was a huge boost to internet sales because everybody was at home, and it just never really came down that much after that. So ad costs are higher. So you need to make sure that you're doing it smart. And this iOS 14 update is exactly what I was talking about. The importance of first-party data. With the tracking measures that are available today, they're really harping on security. All right, Google search ads. Just giving you guys the landscape here. Google search ads is the ultimate control. You decide the quality of your traffic. You can optimize your ads for clicks, for sales, for awareness. You really control how good of quality that you're getting to your website. In-market audiences, Google will, based on browser behavior, so if I'm going on and I'm looking at travel sites and I'm going to TripAdvisor and I'm going to Expedia, I get put into an in-market audience by Google saying this person is looking to travel soon. You can target people by that in-market audience. Very intent-based. So if somebody goes on Google and they search for furniture stores near me, you know that that person is in the market looking for your product right now. So Google search ads is a really great way. I would say it's lower funnel. It's a conversion tactic. So it's not the cheapest tactic, but it's putting your money and your ad in front of people who are looking to buy now. YouTube ads is incredibly targeted video. Basically, you get to leverage the power of Google and their targeting with a video medium. So it's also a great way to get rid of some of the special ad categories. If you go and do an ad with Facebook, there's a lot of ad categories, whether it be housing or lending or employment, that there are restrictions on who you can target and how you can target. When you do YouTube ads, a lot of times you can get past some of those. So, for example, I run a campaign with the state of Maine right now, and they're looking to get more mental health professionals. And on that campaign, instead of just running ads for employment, we're running ads for a course, a certification course. Take this 40-hour course and get certified. So therefore, you're not really doing employment. You're doing something a little bit different. And other businesses are starting to adopt this too. If they have onboarding programs, then they are trying to get people to their onboarding training, not specifically to employment. It's a unique caveat that is letting you target things to get more help. You only pay when someone watches your entire video on YouTube ads, so that's a good thing. You know that you're getting the full video in front of them. If they skip it, you don't pay. Just like on Google ads, it's cost per click. You only pay when they click. They typically have to pick up another device to go to your website, so that's something to keep in mind. They're not going to convert while watching their smart TV on YouTube. They're going to have to pick up their phone or go to a laptop. So that matters, and you want to make sure that you're optimizing your content for that. The placements are fantastic. You can do it by YouTube channel. So, for example, I had a passion project where I'm an outdoorsman, and I was selling climbing gear for trees. And I knew that there were certain YouTube channels of people that were really interested in that niche. So I did a video, and I placed that YouTube ad only on those niche channels, and we sold out of all of our inventory within 2 weeks. It was phenomenal. We built a whole brand, and it went very, very well, and it was all through YouTube ads. So depending on your target market, it can be a really fantastic way to leverage the targeting of Google and get to use video as your ad medium. OTT, CTV, cable TV, display ads. You've probably had someone try to sell you this or pitch this to you. It is the new way of doing TV commercials. You know, you can still do cable, and that's still a very real thing, and I ran those ads too for certain customers. But OTT and CTV, really what that's saying is streaming services, running ads on streaming services. And what's great about that is instead of just buying the slot with cable TV and letting it go out there, you get to leverage some of those targeting options, the demographics, the interests, the zip codes even. You can really get targeted with that, and it does work. The one thing I would say is, much like YouTube ads, where they're going to have to go to another device, a computer or a phone, and look you up. So make sure your branding and your website is very recognizable and you have a strong offer. If you're going to spend the money, because it's kind of an expensive tactic, if you're going to spend the money to do it, make sure you have some kind of strong call to action offer. You can also leverage your email list in these types of campaigns. They are addressable. So, for example, if you have a bunch of customer data, your business has been around for a while and you have their addresses, you can send these streaming video ads directly to those addresses. Google Analytics 4. This has caused a lot of headaches, and I've been working with all of my clients through this. Basically, I don't know who out there on this call has Google Analytics set up for their property, but it is a really powerful piece of software that you install some code on your website, and it tracks everything about what happens on your website, how people came to your website, what channels they took to get there, how long did they spend there, how many pages did they visit, which channels drove the most sales. So if you're not using Google Analytics, I really would implore you to do that. And if you need help, please call and we can get you set up. It's really not that difficult and it's not that expensive to get set up. So the new Google Analytics version just basically kicked in this year. We could use it before, but they have sunsetted the old version. And the new version is a lot more, it requires you to be more tech savvy. The old version had these pre-canned reports that was easy to see everything right there. Now you kind of have to customize everything and build it out the way that you want to see things. So it's caused some headaches, but it's definitely something that we can help you with. Any digital agency can help you with. It's worth it to do the digging. If you're serious about your marketing strategy, you have to be using Google Analytics. The rising ad costs, like I talked about before, back in 2021, after the big boom of online advertising, costs went up by close to 100% on most of the social media channels, as you can see right here. There's something to be thinking about. When I have a client call me for the first time and I'm going over the consultation of their business, it's very common that the business owner will tell me, I've run Facebook ads, I've done the Google ads, and it doesn't work. Well, getting harder to make them work. So that's why it's really important that you get good advice to do this the right way. It still works, I promise. I see great success with a lot of these campaigns, but it's getting more difficult. And it's mostly because of this right here. I'm sure we've all seen something like this if we have an iPhone. Do you want to allow tracking? This is the way of the world in digital marketing today, is that it's all about privacy. So as I said before, first-party data is crucial. We have to capture and market to our website visitors, our email list, our visitors in the store too. I mean, beyond digital marketing, if someone comes to your workplace, you have to try and create that connection and get their information, because just the old ways of targeting and tracking are going away, and it's not going to get better. It's only going to get more restrictive in the future. Okay, here's a really great short-term, easy, low-hanging fruit win. Claiming your Google My Business listing. If you don't have this, you're missing out. It's showing credibility of your business to Google, so that gets you a little bit of lift right there, more visibility. And it's quite easy to do this, and I'm sure, I'll send this off to Kristen and Laura, and they can send this deck to everybody who attended today. So I included a link at the bottom here, but it gives you a really good support document. I think it's only like 5 or 6 steps, and it has a YouTube video in there to show you how to make sure you've claimed your business listing. But essentially, you can do this from Google or Google Maps and just search your business name and make sure you're signed in to the Google account in which you would have created this. And if you see, do you own this business? That probably means that you have not claimed your own business listing. If you have claimed your business listing, it will say you manage this business right there instead with a little check mark. So that is a really big win. If you pull that, what you want to do is you want to fill out your profile as much as you possibly can. If you sell furniture, for example, you want to list out all the different types of furniture and the brands that you have. Because what you're trying to do is make this profile take up as much space and be as comprehensive about your business as possible. Go back to the original marketing core concepts. In marketing, our job is to facilitate the exchange of information. So if someone can do a quick Google search, they see your business pop up right here, and they can see all the things that you do. Wow, now I'm going to click through and go to your website because you offer exactly what I am looking for. And this is the first place usually people are going to find you. The research today for most businesses and services is happening on Google. All right, here's a really great mix with traditional advertising and marketing with digital marketing as well. Collecting reviews and emails from your customers. This gets back to that first-party data. So something I like to say is you want to provide value before you ask them for something. So in the hotel world, I would have this little canned email that we would send out at their post-stay, and also have something in their room when they check out, something physical. See, number 2 is physical and digital communication. So you want to email them after they've used your product or service, but you also want to give them something in hand. You never know how someone's going to interact with your brand, what's going to stick with them. So hit them both ways, physical and digital, and QR codes is a great way to do this. But something like, thank you so much for staying with us at the Ocean View Hotel. I made that up. We would like to give you a special promo code to stay with us again. Just use the code REP, repeat, to receive a 15% off your next stay. Then you hit them with the ask. Reviews are so helpful for our business. If you could please take 1 minute to tell us how you enjoyed your stay, it would mean the world to us. Just click here, facilitate that exchange, or scan the QR code and bring them right to the page where they leave a Google review. Or, if you're a restaurant, maybe a different type of site, Yelp or whatever it is that they do reviews on. You need to decide where your potential customers are most likely to see you, if it's Google or if it's a Yelp or if it's a TripAdvisor or whatever it may be. when your customers go looking for social proof, you want to funnel your reviews to that channel and make it easy for them. Just click, or if you do a physical card or something like that, when someone comes in to buy a piece of furniture and you give them something physical that has a QR code on it to leave a review, that's a really great way to start collecting reviews. Why reviews are so important is twofold. So obviously, for Google, if they see a business getting a lot of great reviews, they're going to rank you higher in the maps and in search. That is really important because Google's entire goal, all right, I know I'm throwing a lot at you, but please hear me for this. This is probably the most important thing I'll say about digital marketing today. Google's entire goal is relevance. They want to serve the website that is most relevant to the person's search. They want to provide good resources, good websites, good businesses based on what somebody is searching. That's their goal. That's their business model. So if you can get a lot of reviews and showing a lot of social proof that you're a good business, you're a reputable business with good reviews, that helps you with Google tremendously. I've seen that with retail in specific be huge. For example, one of my clients is a contractor. They do fencing in just outside of New York. And it's, I forget what they call that region, but it's in Connecticut. It's a very, very wealthy area. So having a lot of Google reviews is very important to them. And ranking high on Google Maps is very important to them. So if people were to search vinyl fencing installation near me, they want to be number one for that. Like a lot of your businesses would probably want to rank high for a near me type search. This is how you really boost that placement, that collecting reviews and getting them from customers as social proof. This is how you do that. So make it easy for them. All right, here's some action items. So we're about 15 minutes here to the end. I wanted to leave some time for some questions, but here's the action items here that, you know, you guys can get this deck here so you can refer back to this. But in order, if I were any one of your businesses, I would review your website and speed test your website. I always like to use this analogy that if you're going to invite guests over to your house, maybe for, you know, a party or a dinner or whatever, most people will typically like to clean up their house a little bit before they invite people over. It's the same thing with your website. Clean up your house before you drive traffic there. So if your website is set up to really have compelling offers, then it's worthwhile to run the ads. If you don't really have a compelling website or a website that loads really slow and you're just going to have a bad experience, I would not recommend you running ads. So make sure you do that first. Number two, claim your business and fill out your Google business profile to the best of your ability. Put as many service offerings as possible. Make it as comprehensive as possible so the person can get as much information quickly about your business. That will help you get more people to your website. Number three, run ads to get customers and collect data through Google Analytics. So if you're getting a bunch of people to come to your website, you'll get really great insights as to what pages they're visiting the most. By season, you know, if you have, I keep going back to the furniture example because it's a pretty easy one as far as retail to think about this. But if you have a demand wave where people are looking for chase lounges in a certain time of the year, Google Ads will help you learn that with Google Analytics. If you're running ads, you'll see that page is getting a ton of hits for whatever reason at this time of year. Those are invaluable insights to help your business. Update your website based on the data. When you run Google Ads, you can see which specific keywords and which pages are being visited the most, so you use that. If you have certain keywords that are getting clicked on and searched by far more than any other, put those keywords onto your website. It all helps you rank higher on Google. So by giving Google money, they give you some of the answers to the tests. You know, essentially, that's what it is. Number five, create an offer to collect reviews and emails. No matter where you are, if you have a physical location, if you're an online store, it doesn't matter if you do services, whatever it is, please collect emails. That is the best way and easiest way to be able to market to your customers going forward. It's getting trickier and trickier with online with the security issues. So please collect emails, whatever you have to do. You know, I work with Laura on a travel association, and we go to these big travel shows, and we'll have something that we're trying to increase tourism to the state of Maine. And we'll have something at our booth that will entice them to give us their emails. You can do the same thing in your store, at your business, on your website. Just find a way to collect those emails. Some people will do pop-ups on their website. You'll see that, you know, as soon as you go to a website, you get a little pop-up and it says, you know, give us your email to get exclusive offers. That's a great thing to do. You'll collect so many emails that way. I do that with almost all of my clients. And number 5, call me if you need help. You know, this is a lot that I just threw at you, and I typically like to have these conversations more in dialogue. We were having some audio issues, so I just tried to throw it all out at you, so we couldn't really go back and forth as much. So I know this is a lot, and it might feel like I'm not exactly sure how to make all these changes and make it effective for my business. I will always do a consultation with any business and walk through to find out who your ideal customer is, what tactics will probably serve you the best, and whether you want to take that and run ads with my agency or not, it's totally fine with me. I like to help Maine businesses. That's why I got into doing what I'm doing. And a free consultation will sometimes steer you in the right direction. And if you decide that you want more help, we can go that route. But I just like to help Maine businesses. That is really my goal here. So without further ado, is there any questions that anybody has? I know that we have some audio issues, but I think we can make it work. So please, anybody have any questions about social media, Google Ads, your website, anything?
Rob, can you hear us?
I can hear you.
Okay, you mentioned a snippet of code that you can put on your website to follow your visitors. Then you said something about working the pixel. But what is that snippet? Is it called pixel?
So it's called a pixel, but you get it from your Facebook ad account. And basically it's just a linkage so that if someone visits your website, now you can serve Facebook ads directly to them.
We have an Etsy store. We collect information from Etsy that will basically be ours rather than Etsy's. Does that make sense?
No, that would be a third party. It would be great if you could, but if you're on Etsy, they own that data. So that's why it's so important to get the first party data.
The first party data is your direct communication with a possible customer.
You got it. Exactly. So if they visit your website, that's your data. Yep. But on Etsy, that would be difficult. You got to get them to call you or go visit your website or something like that before you can collect that data.
So we end up at a lot of festivals and fairs and craft shows and things of that type. And one of the things that we found is that if we put out a sheet that says, you know, more information, you know, give us your email. It's not very well followed. We don't get too many people who give us their emails. Is that a fair assessment of what's going on in the market, that people are afraid or don't want to give you stuff? Hang on a minute.
Absolutely. And that's why all these security measures are getting put in place, because there's a lot of spam that can happen out there. So that's why I said offer them something of value to them. For example, at the trade shows that we do, and we're trying to sell Maine for tourism, I think at one show we shipped people lobsters for a drawing. We did a drawing to ship them Maine lobsters. And you wouldn't believe how many emails we collected in that one show. It was ridiculous. So find something that your target market, your audience, finds valuable. I don't know, I'm making something up for you right now. A free pillow for your for your chair, something like that, that is valuable to them. And it really doesn't even have to be super expensive. It can just be something that is unique. But yeah, try and give them value first, and then you'll see that you'll get a lot more emails.
Rob,
Once
we
you
had
get those
a
emails,
question.
sorry, go ahead.
Sorry. We had another question in chat. Can you talk more about a digital marketing strategy? What are some good resources for defining ways to market to a business's ideal customer?
Aha, okay, I see it in the chat here. So yes, a digital marketing strategy, and this is going to sound like an evasive answer, but it's the truth, is it all depends. That's a great place to start, is who is your ideal customer? And you know that as a business owner. Who is it that you're looking for to come through your doors or to buy your services? And you build it from there. I always kind of start with a research, strategy, tactics kind of methodology. So do the research. Who's my ideal client? Geographically, demographically, all of those things come into play of who is it we're really going after. Now, how do we reach them? We've answered the who. Now the how. How do these people, our ideal customers, how do they do their research? If they were to buy my product or my service, where are they going online to do their research? That's how you get in front of them. For example, when I was at the Nonantham Resort, we were a big wedding venue. Now, of course, people looking for wedding venues will Google it and look for wedding venues in areas they want to go to. But they'll also go to places like theknot.com or Wedding Wire. There are other sites typically within your industry that are industry specific that if you can get in front of them there, that's really helpful for your overall marketing strategy. So again, start with the who, then think about how do we communicate with them, and then you start crafting your offer and building your presence. I hope that was helpful. Excellent. You're welcome, Lindsay. Anything else? Anybody out there?
I've got a question. Do you find that it's still valuable for businesses to utilize Google Analytics as well as Google Search Console?
Ooh, that is a high level question. Yes, that's a great question. So basically, Google Analytics is giving you the information about how people use your website and how they got there. Google Search Console is similar, but it's all specific to Google. It's exactly as the name implies. It is a console or a dashboard about how people searched for your brand on Google specifically, which Google usually is more than 50% of how people get to your website. So looking at Google Search Console, which many people don't know about, but it will give you a lot of the keyword research and your average position of where you land on the search results page. Someone searches for furniture stores near me. You can use Google Search Console to look at by keyword what position you landed on. Were you first position on Google when they searched these words, or were you not even close to the first page? And if you're not on the first page of Google, you're not going to get seen. A boss I used to have in Boston used to say, the best place to hide a dead body is on the second page of Google because nobody goes there. So if you can look at keywords that are specific to your business and see where you rank on Google Search Console, that is a fantastic way to build out a marketing strategy. I guess that goes back to Lindsay's question there. So thank you for teeing that up, Kristen. I can think of one thing in particular where Google Search Console really helped me at the Nonantham Resort. We found that we were ranking really high for rainy day activities in Kennebunkport. It wasn't on purpose. It was just the way that we happened to rank. We had some content on our website that spoke to that specifically. So when people searched that, we were right at the top of the search results page on Google. And then we started really building that out more and more, and it helped us tremendously. So Google Search Console was what told us how to build that strategy based on what was being searched. That was kind of an overlooked thing, and not a lot of people would think to try and build out a strategy based on that. But you have a lot of rainy days throughout the summer, and it drove a lot of people to our restaurants.
And Rob, you can take those keywords you find from Google Search Console and use that to structure your content on your website and your navigation and so forth, so that that all feeds into how you're going to rank in Google. And so if you're showing up for a keyword and you're in the 10th spot and you want to improve it, perhaps incorporating some more of those keywords in your content on page, adjusting the URL and the navigation and so forth to help kind of improve your ranking, right?
Nailed it. You are facilitating the exchange like a good marketer that way. You are starting with outside in thinking. What are our ideal customers searching? Now let's cater our offering, our website, our content, our keywords to what they're searching for. We're facilitating the exchange. That's just good marketing. So very well said.
I have a follow-up question on that. So,
Sure.
Years ago, you used to pad the meta tags in your website so that Google would find you, and then it said if you padded them too much, then Google would ignore you. What is the current? Should we have keywords in our metadata or not, or should the keywords be in our content?
The answer is yes to both. There is something that they call keyword stuffing. So if you're just ridiculous about, furniture store in Kennebunk, and it says that 30 times on the same page, Google's going to catch on to that, and you're going to get penalized for it. You're trying to circumvent their systems, essentially, and they'll catch it, and it won't go well for you. You'll see your rankings drop. So there is a best practice, and typically you don't want to do more than 5 of the same keyword on any landing page. You can do it throughout the whole website. That's different. But on a specific page on your website, don't go over 5 times. It's kind of a good rule of thumb to live by. But when it comes to content, let's say you've identified 3 really quality keywords for your business. You're writing the content on your website for 2 audiences. First is for your customers, but also for Google. So if you know what's the best keywords, you definitely want to appease Google and try to make it sound okay for your clients and your customers. It's a funny dance and a balance there. And sometimes with clients, they don't like the way that, I'll write content for them that way with keywords. And they'll say, this sounds funny. Why do you have to use that locational tag over and over again? And I'll say, well, because the data shows that this is the keyword they're searching. Restaurants in Kennebunk or Kennebunkport. So write for Google first and then try and tweak it to make it sound like you're talking to people, not to Google, if that makes sense.
And should you duplicate, like if there's a certain, say the keyword is live edge furniture, should I have that in the content as well as in the keywords for that page? Or do you get penalized if you have them in both places?
I would have it in both places, absolutely. And when you said meta tags, that's, in the back end in the code, like the page title or the description, those are super important. I would say primarily important, whereas the content on your page is secondary, but still important. But so why I bring that point up is use your very, very best keywords that you want to rank for the page title and description, the meta tags.
Our business, our website is dominated by photographs. And what we're trying to do is we're trying to present somebody with the idea of this is what it looks like, precisely what it looks like. And not too much in the way of wording, because we really do get most of the feedback from what people see on these photographs. Is there a situation in which the website could be too heavily loaded in photos or words or videos or anything of that type?
You could overload it if you stuff it too much. So hotels is another great example of this because they want to show their rooms and, anything that's e-commerce driven, there's a lot of pictures, and pictures are large files typically. So the more of those large files you have on your website, the more it bogs it down. It's heavier. It takes longer to load. So that's a balance right there. definitely look at putting up images in formats, like JPEG or PNG or whatever, that are the smallest size possible, that don't look bad or grainy. So yeah, that's super important in how fast your website loads. I hope that answered your question.
Yeah, very good. Go ahead. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll be wrapping up here in a second, but Kevin, if you want to
No, I just
say your last question.
So if you're looking at Google Analytics, and I know that there's a lot of data that's available for managing, information and data, but is there anything that strikes out a little bit more importantly than another, possibly like the duration of stay?
Yes, definitely. So there's a number of factors, but it used to be called bounce rate. Now they have a different name for it, engagement rate. But basically, if you have a particular channel that is sending you traffic to your website and they are just bouncing a lot of times, that tells you that traffic quality is not very good. So that's a big one I look at. Average time on page is another good thing. How many pages they visited, another good thing. So you have engagement metrics that you can check. That is definitely really important in Google Analytics. It all depends. If you're e-commerce, you want to make sales. You don't necessarily care if it's sending you a ton of people to your website if they're not buying your product. So yes, there's an awareness value to that. But yeah, there's a balance. And depending on the business, certain metrics are more important than others. In your world, sir, I would say definitely sales, and then time on page and bounce rate is the three big ones. Great questions, by the way, from everybody.
Looking like a true marketeer.
Rob, can you give us a preview of next week?
Sure. So next week, I believe we're honing in a little bit more on social media strategies. So we're really going to look at some of the ads and the settings and the way to create warm audiences, like we talked about, how to leverage that first party data, like the email list and the retargeting ads. We're really going to get into the nitty gritty, and you'll see the setup is less complicated than you think. Now, maintaining and optimizing is kind of what people like me do to make it work the best that it can. But you can get set up with a pretty basic setup as far as social ads and really start getting results again, I would say. Facebook I've heard the results and the rumors that it's kind of lost some of its steam for some businesses, but that just means you got to figure out how to work it right, because it still works. You just have to find the right way to work it for your business specifically. So that's what we'll be diving into next week. So I hope to see all of you back there again. And I love the questions that I got from everybody. Thank you so much.
Can I ask one more question that might be related to next week? Can you speak about reels and stories?
We can touch on that briefly, yes. But there are some other people probably at the chamber right there that are even better at that than I am.
And I think that's a topic for a future
workshop.
workshop.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
Rob. So okay, perfect. Rob, thank you so much. This was
Thank you, sir.
Information overload, but in a good way, because you've given us so much to talk about or to think about. Yeah.
There's a lot there, and that's why I like to have a dialogue, because I just basically threw everything at you guys. So please, any further questions, please reach out, and I'd love to have a discussion about your business.
Thank you so much, Rob.
thank you, Rob.
See you next week.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you, everybody.